What's up, guys? My name is Spartan, and it is time for another tier list. I don't know why I continue to do these, but it is, you guys keep wanting to see more of them, so we're going to do another tier list. So this time, instead of 5 categories, we actually have 6 because there are a lot of freaking modules. Yeah, we have S tier all the way at the top. Going down from there, A, B, C, D, and F tier. F is in absolutely freaking terrible. And I'm probably going to do a follow-up tier list later on, specifically catered towards newer beginner players. Maybe like phased out, sort of. We'll do like a tier list for the early game, and then maybe one for like the later stages of the game. For this tier list, this is going to strictly just be my opinion, so this is where the memes start. We've got all of the modules here, including the new ones that we recently got, like Primordial Collapse here, Orbital Augment right here. So we've got all of the stuff ready to sort of get going. We're just going to start in the canon category with the Astral Deliverance. So Astral Deliverance, I have a special place in my heart for Astral Deliverance. It was my very first Ancestral module. I believe it also could have been my very first 5-star, but I'm not sure exactly. Astral Deliverance is really pretty good. It, bounce shot range increased by 3%, which is great. More crowd control, just keeping enemies away from your tower. Also more chain lightning procs. Each bounce increases the projectile's damage, so more damage, always fun. I don't know if it's necessarily like super good, but I think what we're going to do for Astral Deliverance is we'll actually just put it in A tier. I think overall in terms of modules that have great utility across all spectrums of the game, Astral Deliverance definitely sort of delivers, no pun intended. But anyway, oh boy, this is off to a good start. So yeah, Astral Deliverance is pretty good. I think we'll give it an A tier for now. We'll see if it starts. Also, similar to the more recent tier lists I've done, let's say that, for example, we have Being Annihilator also in A tier. If this is the setup, we're going to have Astral Deliverance first, and then Being Annihilator second. Whichever module is basically closest to the letter means that it's going to be the highest overall in that category, just so that you guys are aware. But speaking of the Being Annihilator, where are we going to place the Being Annihilator? I know me and Tags had our opinions about that.
Like, what else am I going to put in? A Havoc Bringer? Like, nah, man. I don't know about that one, cuz.
A Being Annihilator? Get out of here.
that's going to be being a waste of a slot.
Going to be annihilating my progress.
Oh, good one. I see what you did there.
But where are we going to put Being Annihilator? So, I mean, it really doesn't do a whole lot, right? When you super crit, your next 3, 4, 5, and 6 in Ancestral are guaranteed to super crit. So on paper, that sounds good, but it really doesn't do a whole lot. I think this module overall is very, very lacking. So I think we'll just put it in. We'll put it in D tier. It really doesn't do a whole lot. Now moving on to Death Penalty. Death Penalty is an interesting one. This one obviously is going to be, it would be F tier for farming because we don't want to instantly kill enemies outside of our coin multipliers. But if we're talking about tournaments, early game, it would be basically S tier. Later stages of the game, it could be, A, B, something like that. But where are we going to put Death Penalty? Gives you a chance of basically marking an enemy to instantly die when it spawns, causing whatever damage first hits it to instantly one-shot it. So I think overall, Death Penalty is pretty neutral across the board. I think we'll put it in C tier because it is mostly catered towards like either milestone runs or tournaments. It's basically has no utility whatsoever in farming, at least not that I'm aware of. So we'll put it in C tier for now. Now moving on, let's talk about Havoc Bringer. Bringing some havoc to our farming runs, I guess. I don't know. So Havoc Bringer is interesting. Gives you different % chances for Rend Armor to instantly go to max. This one is interesting. I'm not sure where to put this one. I think, honestly, my heart wants to put it here with Being Annihilator, but potentially in front of Being Annihilator. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So we're going to put Havoc Bringer in D tier as well, but above Being Annihilator. It just doesn't bring a whole lot to the table. The only question I would have is, does the chance for the Rend Armor to instantly go to max, does that also affect the Poison Swamp Rend, the Swamp Rend? Because if it does, I might put it closer to like B tier as being useful. But still, in terms of the cannons, there's way better options that you can use than this stuff. So that's where we're going to put it. Let's move on to the Stink Ray, aka the Shrink Ray. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Tech Tree Games kind of screwed up the name. There's a typo. It says Shrink Ray, but everybody knows this is the Stink Ray. So where are we going to put the Stink Ray at? Attacks have a 1% chance to apply a non-stacking effect that decreases the enemy's mass. This one actually is pretty decent at ancestral level, but I don't know anybody who's using this as their primary module, so I don't know. Maybe it would be useful in an assist slot, but in terms of like primary modules, that I don't know. I think we'll put it here with death penalty, but potentially put it in front of death penalty because you can use Shrink Ray in farming as well. Yeah, I think that's where we'll put Shrink Ray. It just, I don't know, the whole mass thing, like the utility behind this, right? You could use it as an assist module in the event that you have a enemy mass battle condition. But even then, if you only have an epic cannon assist, you're only decreasing the enemy's mass by 10%. And it doesn't stack, so it's a stagnant 10% mass decrease, which may help a little bit in terms of how quickly they actually get to your tower, but overall it's pretty lackluster. And last but not least, let's talk about Amplifying Strike. Killing a boss or elite enemy increases the tower's damage by ×5 for, a certain duration of seconds. Basically, if you're using this as your primary module, it's effectively like permanent damage increase, which is super, super good. But for like EHP focused builds, I think it's not going to be entirely S tier. I still kind of think it's the overall best cannon in slot, but it'll be, I think we'll put it right next to Astral Deliverance, but just above Astral Deliverance because it does provide quite a bit more damage overall than Astral Deliverance does. But Astral Deliverance, you do get the added sort of effect of the crowd control from the extra bounce shot range, which is a consideration. More chain lightning procs, more bounce shots, it's a consideration. But I think I'm happy with this for the cannons. That's what we got. So we got nothing in S tier and nothing in F tier. We'll see if maybe we can switch that up a little bit. Let's talk about Anti-Cube Portal. Moving on to the armor modules. So Anti-Cube Portal is... It's really good. Overall, it does a whole lot. So the unique effect, obviously, it says enemies take different extra multipliers worth of damage for 7 seconds straight after they're hit by a shockwave. This is absolutely mandatory if you're doing a damage-focused build. I will say I did use Anti-Cube Portal quite a long time when I was still in EHP, and I think it did help me. I think it helped me quite a bit in terms of like, I was farming with Orb Devo, right? And I needed extra damage done to the enemies. So in order to like properly trim them efficiently. So for that reason, I think we'll put Anti-Cube Portal in A tier as well. Yeah, we'll put it in A tier as well. And I think we'll put it above Astral Deliverance because it is really good. I don't think it's quite as good as like Amplifying Strike, but whatever. They're different categories anyway. So we'll put ACP in between the two of those. And moving on to Negative Mass Projector. Negative Mass Projector is interesting. It says if an orb doesn't kill the enemy, it will apply a stacking debuff, reducing its damage and speed by different percentages per hit. And it has a max reduction of 50%. So this can be a really great source of crowd control in terms of like dealing with bosses, or if you have an orb resistance battle condition, this can also be pretty good. Outside of those very unique situations, I don't really think it's that great. So I think it's not quite D tier. It's not D tier. I don't know. I think we'll put it in C tier because of, well, no. I think it actually is D tier. We're going to put it in the bottom of D tier because of how niche it is. It's okay, but overall, you're really going to primarily consider this when you're trying to do like maybe a big milestone push, but even then there's better options you could use. Or like I mentioned, if there's the orb resist battle condition, that one also. Now let's talk about the Wormhole Regenerator. Where are we going to put the Wormhole Regenerator? AKA the Wormhole Redirector. So early game, this one is absolutely S tier, super, super good, up until you get to the point of having the wall, in which case Sharp Fortitude gets better. But how it scales in the late game and overall throughout the course of the game, I think Wormhole Redirector is very, very bad. Like, I have not touched Wormhole Redirector basically since I unlocked the wall. And even then, I don't know. I think we're going to put Wormhole Redirector in... Oh my gosh. I think we're going to put it in F tier unless you're a brand new player and just started the game. If you're a brand new player, ignore this and just think that it's S tier because it is really good for the early game. Outside of that, this basically does nothing for you. So we're going to put it in F tier. The Wormhole Regenerator is in fact F tier. So moving on to Space Displacer. Space Displacer is an interesting one. Basically, you have a chance for landmines to instantly spawn as an inner landmine instead of a normal mine, and they sort of gradually move and rotate across your screen, basically just orbiting your tower, protecting your tower. Obviously, this has a lot of good utility when you're trying to get more crowd control. It's a really good source of crowd control. The damage, depending on sort of how your inner landmines are built, or your landmine damage, and just quite frankly your normal damage stuff, it can be okay in terms of damage, but I think overall this is mostly a crowd control source. But it's a very good crowd control source, especially if you get landmine radius on a module stat. Like, you could get landmine radius on your Space Displacer and it would be really, really good. So I think we'll put Space Displacer in B tier. I think it's pretty good. It has a lot of utility, even if you're doing an EHP build and you just want more crowd control. Moving on, let's talk about Sharp Fortitude. Sharp Fortitude is probably overall the best EHP module. It's so good. It increases all of your wall's stats, basically. It gives you extra wall health, it gives you extra regen. It also buffs up your wall thorns quite a bit, which is pretty good. So it would definitely be S tier if this was an EHP focused tier list, but this is an overall utility tier list. And because this is pretty much exclusively an EHP module, and I don't know, I feel like in the later stages of the game, there's just better options that you could use as your primary module. I don't know. I think we'll put it in A tier, and we'll put it behind Astral. Yeah, we'll put it behind all of this stuff. It is very good, but it's super niche to basically just EHP builds. But it is so good for EHP builds. Now moving on, let's talk about Orbital Augment. This one, oh man. So this one technically did get nerfed, but I think the nerf actually made it a lot better. So for reference, I'm currently farming Glass Cannon with Orbital Augment as my primary, and I think that overall the changes that they made to it are actually super strong across the board. Like, if you're dying to vampires, you can throw on Orbital Augment and it will basically help you deal with them. If you're dying to tank ultimates, like I sometimes do in my tier 17 runs, you can throw this on as your primary and it will just do so much damage to the tank ultimates. It's really, really strong. I think it's going to be... It's not quite S tier. I can't put it in S tier. I don't know if it's quite S tier level or not. I think we're going to put it in S tier. Yeah, I'm going to put Orbital Augment in S tier. I don't know. It's just really good. It gives you basically orbiting electrons, as you can see on the screen currently. And it basically deals 15% of the enemy's remaining health, which is really good. It's not as effective on bosses or fleet enemies, but it is still really strong against, like, basically every other enemy type. So if you die to ray enemies, you can use it for that. It helps you deal with it. If you die to scatter enemies, it helps you deal with that. It literally helps you with every other enemy. Like, yes, it's not quite as effective into bosses and fleet enemies, but it still helps you quite a bit. And especially in the later stages of the game, if you are running like a Glass Cannon focus build, this one is super impactful. But that's going to sum it up for the armor modules. We'll move on now to the generators, and we'll talk about first Singularity Harness. Singularity Harness is really good. Not just for econ, by the way. It improves the radius of all of your bots, which is actually really good. I don't know if this is the best generator, though. It's definitely not the best generator. So, although it's really good, I think overall in terms of the generators, it's far from the best, but I think we'll put it in B tier. We'll put it in B tier below Space Displacer. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it. Now moving on to Galaxy Compressor. This one is pretty obvious. Galaxy Compressor is very similar sort of to how people think of Golden Tower. Very clearly B tier. Not that great, but pretty okay. Also, I'm totally kidding. Shout out to all of you guys that know that reference, by the way. But I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm beating around the bush here. G-Comp is 100% top of S tier. It's super, super good across all stages of the game. Like, even if you don't use in the later stages of the game, even if you don't use G-Comp as your primary, you'll get a lot of value still in terms of econ and just keeping your ultimate weapons permanent by basically having it in the assist as at a bare minimum. I've basically used Galaxy Compressor the entire year and a half I've been playing this game, and it's for a good reason. It is that good. It's so, so good. Now moving on to Pulsar Harvester. This one is interesting. It's definitely not like a farming module. It's more sort of niched, kind of similar to like Death Penalty in terms of being really good for like tournaments and milestones, but outside of that, you're not really going to use it for farming unless maybe you use it as like an assist mod. But even then, I feel like maybe if you were going to use a damage module for the assist, you'd probably get better results with like restorative bonus or project funding. So I think Pulsar Harvester is going to go in, I think it's going to go in C tier. And yeah, we're just going to put it in C tier. I think that's a good spot for it. Moving on to Black Hole Digester. Probably the best overall generator in terms of just econ. Like, if you look at anybody in the later echelons of the game, they're most likely going to be using Black Hole Digester as their primary module. It's super, super, super good. Temporarily get different percentage of extra coins per kill bonus for each free upgrade that you get during the current wave. And one common thing that people sort of misconstrue with this is you don't actually have to get a physical free upgrade to utilize the bonus from this. Like, I'll just show you really quickly on my tower. You can see my coins per kill number here. You can see I have my entire workshop fully maxed except for the stuff that I have locked. And there's nothing else going to free upgrades anymore. But you can see even then my coins per kill bonus did change. And you see it just dropped a little bit there. So it factors in the hypothetical free upgrades that you would have gotten, basically. But with that, I think Black Hole Digester is definitely A tier. We'll put it above... Yeah, I think we'll put it above all of these except for Amplifying Strike, because this one is super, super good. Now moving on to Project Funding. Project Funding is great. It basically just increases your damage based on the number of digits in your cache, like in your available cache that you basically have. So this one is a no-brainer for Legends tournaments. It's super, super good. Can also be pretty effective in like later milestone pushes, but overall it's pretty niched. So I think we're going to put it... I think we'll put it in B tier because it's definitely better than this stuff, but it's not quite at the level of this stuff because of how niche down it is. I think we will put it above Singularity Harness. Yeah, we'll put it above Singularity Harness because I guess you could use it as an assist module to farm, but I guarantee you nobody would use Singularity Harness in their tournament setup unless they had a build that basically just revolved around like their Amplify bot covering the whole screen or something like that. But I guarantee you that nobody would use Singularity Harness in a tournament unless they had a build that basically revolved around bots just doing like 90% of the work. So I think I'm happy with the placement there for Project Funding. Last but not least, let's talk about Restorative Bonus. This is the most recent generator. It's actually pretty good. It basically allows recovery packages to grant you 50% attack speed boost for different decaying amounts of time. So this one is really good for tournaments and also milestones, but not really going to use it for farming, I wouldn't think, compared to some of the other options that we have. Even in an assist slot, I think it's just, you're not going to get that much value out of it. In terms of where we're going to put Restorative Bonus, I think we're going to put it in C tier, but we'll put it above Shrink Ray. Yeah, so the top of C tier, I think, is a safe place for it. It is really good, but it's super niche. And at the end of the day, attack speed is not the end-all be-all. Yes, it helps with crowd control. Yes, it helps with damage, but there's a contingency. It's dependent on your recovery package chance, and it's also dependent on your attack speed, how much value you actually get from it. And the fact that it decays also does not super help you. But yeah, that's going to cover it for the generators. Let's go ahead and dive into the cores. And we'll kick this off with my beloved ohm chip. Where will my lovely little ohm chip go? I think it's really a no-brainer. Ohm chip, throw it out of the game, delete it. I'd never want to see another one of these ever again. At least that's my personal opinion. But in terms of like the rest of you guys, overall, ohm chip is not terrible. It used to be a lot worse, and they did improve it quite a bit, where you get a damage buff basically to enemies circulating around the radius of the bosses, which is pretty good. This one especially comes in handy when you're in a tournament or even a farming run and you have a fast ultimate. Ohm chip is actually really good because if a fast enemy is close to a boss and speeding it up, you can sometimes get lucky with the ohm chip damage, sort of killing the fast enemy that's speeding it up. So that can be a definite plus, but overall, there's not a whole lot of utility. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's better options even if you're going to be farming other than this, unless like you have a build that basically revolves around Spotlight. But even then, I think we'll put it in D tier overall. We'll put it in D tier, but we'll put it... Yeah, actually, I think I'm happy with this placement, the bottom of D tier. Moving on to Harmony Conductor here. Harmony Conductor is actually pretty good. I think this one's good for both EHP and Glass Cannon builds. Just basically giving a percentage-based chance, depending on rarity, of poisoned enemies missing their attacks on you. It says the boss's chance is halved. So at max level, assuming you have an Ancestral, the bosses would basically have a 15% chance of missing their attack. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, it definitely does happen sometimes. I think Harmony Conductor is definitely more useful overall across the entire game than Ohm Chip is, but I don't know anybody that would use this as like their dedicated core module. I think we're going to put Harmony Conductor in B tier, and we'll put Harmony Conductor above Project Funding and Singularity Harness. And the reason being, again, is because you can use Harmony Conductor in tournaments as well, and it's not super niched depending on your build. You can run Harmony Conductor and get value whether you're doing EHP or Glass Cannon, which is super, super good. Moving on to Dimension Core. Dimension Core. I wish I had more of these. Anyway, where are we going to put Dimension Core? Chain Lightning has 60% chance of hitting the initial target. Shock chance and multiplier are doubled. If the shock is applied to the same enemy, the shock multiplier will add a stack of all the way up to 20 at Ancestral. So this one for Glass Cannon and later stages of the game is 100% S tier, both for farming and tournaments, by the way. But for the purposes of this, because it is very much Glass Cannon focused and also tournament focused, I think overall we're going to put it just in A tier. We'll put it above Astral Deliverance, I think. So in the same way that like Sharp Fortitude is basically best of its class for EHP, Dimension Core is essentially best of its class for Glass Cannon, at least in terms of the cores, because it's so niched. And I mean, people that are hybrid or EHP will still use it for like tournaments, but they're definitely not going to farm with it in the later stages of the game. So I think it is super, super good at what it does, but overall it's, yeah, that's kind of my take on it at least. Moving on to Multiverse Nexus. This one is interesting. I think MVN might be S tier. For basically most of the game, it's going to be S tier for you until you get to the point of farming with the Dimension Core, and then you're going to forget about it and not care anymore. That percentage of the player base is so small in the grand scheme of things, so I think it warrants having MVN in S tier. It just makes sense. Like the G-Comp MVN combo is so good, and also Multiverse Nexus is a cheat code for syncing up all of your ultimate weapons. Once you get even just one, you can go ahead and already have a synced set of ultimate weapons. Now, granted, you're going to technically have a little bit more extra time, but if you have a G-Comp to go with it, it all works out, right? But yeah, MVN is super, super good. I don't think it's going to beat Orbital Augment in terms of the placement, but it is super, super good across the board, so I think we're going to be happy with that. Now let's talk about Magnetic Hook. Magnetic Hook is... oh, man. We're going to put Magnetic Hook in F tier, and we're going to put it below the Wormhole Regenerator because... man, this is hard. I'm going to upset some dude, like the 1 or 2 people that have a dedicated inner landmine build. I'm going to really upset them. But Magnetic Hook, yeah, it fires inner landmines at bosses as they enter the tower range, which sounds great. You get a stun on a boss, you get a lot of damage in terms of like the orb damage. It also does fire inner landmines at 25% of elite enemies, so that is also a consideration. So I think actually we might move Magnetic Hook above Wormhole Regenerator, but overall I think Magnetic Hook leaves a lot to be desired. Like, just shooting inner landmines sounds great, but again, if you don't have any investment in your inner landmines, you're basically just using it as a crowd control source. But it's only a crowd control source for all bosses, which sounds good, and 25% of elites. So all it takes is one ray to destroy your energy shields, to destroy your second wind, to kill you. I don't want to take a chance with that 25%. Maybe some people do, but that's kind of my take on it. And last but not least, let's talk about Primordial Collapse. Primordial Collapse is super, super good. This is also sort of a cheat code. If you get one of these early on, like I did on Spartan Jr., you basically can straight up bypass the extra black hole lab, at least in the short term, because you get a free extra black hole. It's great. Not only that, it's also a great source of damage mitigation for EHP builds. I think this is actually going to be super, super solid overall. I think it's useful at all stages of the game, even potentially like late game, right? Because if you're in the later stages of the game, you maybe are right on the brink of being able to tank overcharge enemies. I mean, even 50% decreased damage from enemies within black hole. That alone, like 50% of an overcharge enemy, that's a lot. That is a lot of damage mitigation. So whether you're EHP or even glass cannon, you could probably get quite a bit of value from this. Let alone when you do have 3 black holes, you can farm at a higher range and be a lot more forgiving in terms of black hole coverage for your coins. So I think Primordial Collapse has a lot going for it. We're gonna put Primordial Collapse in S tier. I think it is really, really good. We're actually gonna drop Multiverse Nexus down. We're gonna drop it down to A tier. It's gonna be above Anti-Cube Portal, but below Black Hole Digester. And I think we're actually gonna put, because I'm super OCD and I need one of each module type in S tier, we're gonna bump up. What do we want to do here? Oh man, this is so hard. It's between Astral Deliverance or Amplifying Strike. So I'm just going to put a use case out for each of these. I think Amplifying Strike could be S tier. I still think it's the best overall primary module. But if you don't have assist mods, you might actually be better off using Astral Deliverance because of the extra bounce shot range. That's more opportunities for your Chain Lightning to proc. Yeah, it increases your bounce shot range by 3% of the total tower's range. Each bounce shot increases the projectile's damage by different numbers. The projectile damage, that is not really relevant. Okay, I changed my mind. I think it is going to be Amplifying Strike. Amplifying Strike has to be S tier. I do think we're going to put it above. Yeah, we're going to do it like this. For S tier, we're going to have G-Comp first, and then we're going to have Primordial Collapse second, and we'll have Amplifying Strike third, Orbital Augment fourth. I think that is the tier list. I think that's going to be it. That is going to conclude the tier list for today. That's all I have. Again, keep in mind, this is all my opinion. I think overall this looks like a pretty solid list, but let me know in the comment section below, because I know you guys are going to. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what changes you would make. Do you guys think Magnetic Hook is S tier? Do you guys think Primordial Collapse is F tier? Do you guys think Shrink Ray should even still exist? What do you guys think? Like, you guys let me know in the comments what you think of the tier list, and yeah, that's going to conclude today's video. But subscribe if you're new to the channel. Use my content creator code 300 if you want to support me in the web store or the in-game app for the tower. And check out our YouTube memberships if you want to look into that. Hit the join button below. I do a monthly giveaway for the YouTube members only. And help me out with the YouTube algorithm by dropping a comment down below and leaving a like on the video. And yeah, with that, that's going to conclude the contents of today's video. But thank you guys so much for watching. And like always, I will see you guys later.